Ladies and gentlemen, our millions and millions and millions of viewers, fans, Patreon contributors that don't technically exist yet, welcome to Crafting a Chat. We have a very special segment for you this evening. We're going to be talking about the PS5 reveals for pricing, the release date, and a few awesome games that were teased at the event this afternoon.
Sweet.
What was it called? Did it have like a title? I didn't see.
It was just called PlayStation 5 Showcase, I think. That's all it was called.
Cool. And and here we are. You're getting a bonus episode this week, viewers.
I can't.
So who'd like to get us started talking about it?
Give me 1 second. I'll start talking. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's day?
Horrible.
Long day.
Long day? Well, it's gonna get good. Piece of crap. Alright.
Well,
I've had a myriad of technical issues. Alright, where am I? Whatever. I don't care about that. Let me do this. Do this. Anybody want to fill some time for a second? That would be hot stuff.
Why are you doing this to me?
Genesis is having trouble pre-ordering.
As I imagine everybody is, having a little...
No, I'm not. I'm having a good time.
Shut up! Shut up!
I bought my... Stop yelling. Bought my headphones. Bought them at Target. They're only $100. Makes me a little bit nervous. So...
What headphones?
Like the 3D audio PlayStation 5 headphones.
Yes.
Yeah, they're only $100, and I was like, oh, that's cheaper than I thought, which was exciting, but at the same time, like, I'm not mad. But all right. I watched the conference. I managed to get out of work early. I didn't have to lie to my boss. So
awesome.
I didn't lie to my
shocking.
boss. I watched it. I just sat there and watched it work.
See, I left work early. I was like, hey, can I leave work early so I can watch a nerd event with my friends? She was like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, fantastic. She's a cool lady. All right. Giuseppe, you said you did not watch the conference.
I did not. I was very busy in the afternoon. Wife came home. We had to do, the responsible husband-wife bonding and dinner thing.
I do not know.
And I was able to catch a couple of the snippets of video reveals that you guys had talked about in our own group chat. I was able to check out the Harry Potter thing and
well, let's not jump ahead. Things you were able to check out. We'll run down the conference and then we'll go through
for it. Well, then go.
I just want to order one. I just.
Genesis,
don't worry, you're
going to
get your hands on 5 of them.
By the way, there will be no surprise visitors. I did figure out how to make this invite only.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Anyways, so the conference started off with a gameplay or cinematic trailer, really, of Final Fantasy 16. It looked more like a
console exclusive.
Which isn't like huge.
Are you just gonna keep doing that? Are you just gonna keep interrupting as I'm like saying this, or what's going on with you today? What's going on? We've done excited. What is this? 8 episodes now? Like, I get you're excited. I'm excited. We're all excited.
I've had it.
Let's remember, people who interrupt don't get PlayStation 5s.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's important.
Final Fantasy 16. It's like a medieval fantasy-like setting. And it's a PlayStation console exclusive at Genesis. So, excitedly pointed out. And then we moved on to the Spider-Man Miles Morales gameplay trailer. There was some information. You saw him walking around. You saw with his one friend, Ned from the movies. I forget his name in the comics. Something Blaze It, or whatever the hell his name is. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to see the Tinkerer as the villain, and then some gameplay, a whole bridge section, the electricity. It looks really pretty. It looks really good. And it was all captured on a PS5. found out later after the conference, also coming to PS4, also a launch title. So, yeah. And then
Somebody called that.
Harry Potter. Well, we'll get there. And then Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy announced. It's been that rumored Harry Potter game. It's Warner Brothers Avalanche Studios. It's like, I don't know when it showed like things in the late 1800s and stuff. It's not coming to PS5 until 2021, but in the trailer it also did not say any consoles on it. So it could be coming to current gen, or I honestly don't know. So, and then we saw some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War campaign gameplay. It looked like what the Fast and Furious game should have been, especially on the airport. It was on a runway mostly.
Okay, all right.
It looked cool, but it also looked kind of flat. It looked like Call of Duty.
Right, yeah.
And then we saw another Resident Evil Village gameplay trailer. Nothing notable here. I'm not really a Resident Evil fan, but nothing I saw that was notable. I don't know if Genesis, you saw anything that was notable about that, or
about the COD, about the COD thing, or
Okay, we're gonna move on. We'll come back to that because Genesis is not paying attention.
Correct.
So
okay, we'll move on. Moving on.
And then the new Deathloop gameplay trailer that was shown again, as we've learned earlier this year, that it was delayed until Q2 of 2021. We actually knew it was delayed to 2021. Now we know it's Q2 of 2021. And then Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. All new things. There's like a turbo mode. It's like 1.2 times the speed. Playable Virgil. They've talked about how it's like a 120 frames per second, but you could have a like focused on performance, like 30 frames, but 4K or 1080 and 60 frames, and then
Genesis should be excited about that.
Yeah, there's all different things, and then they're also introducing a new difficulty, the Legendary Dark Knight, which is not Batman related, disappointingly. And then Oddworld Soulstorm gameplay trailer again, similar to the June event that was here. Looks like Oddworld. I mean, I don't really play that, so
yeah, that was never my deal. That was never my bag. It's
got a fan base. Clearly, they keep making them, so good for them.
Sure, yeah.
And then there was a Five Nights at Freddy's game, Security Breach.
Yeah.
It was a well-made trailer. It was a very pretty, like, moving through a facility. I can care less. So
yeah, serious.
That's not for me, but I'm sure it's for someone. And then Demon Souls. There was some gameplay. A lot of complaints that it looked too easy, but in the area they're at, that's actually normally what it looks like, because those enemies are one-hit kills, and then the boss kills you. That's how you kind of learn the game. So you saw the signature "You Died" screen, which was cool. The game looks very pretty. The loading screens are basically non-existent when you go through the smoke. It almost makes you question why they even put the smoke there. I guess it's more of an aesthetic thing. And then Fortnite gameplay was revealed. It was about 45 seconds, if that. It was on Unreal Engine 4. It looked pretty. Looked like Fortnite. It'll be available on PS5 at launch. And then the PlayStation Plus collection was revealed. That's a bunch of games coming to PlayStation Plus only on PlayStation 5. It's like a new feature for Plus. It includes like God of War, Bloodborne, Monster Hunter World, Final Fantasy 15, Fallout 4, Mortal Kombat X, Uncharted 4, Ratchet & Clank, Days Gone, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Battlefield 1, Infamous Second Son, Batman Arkham Knight, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us, Persona 5, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. So if you skip PS4 and you jump into PS5 with a PlayStation Plus subscription, you're going to have a good time.
That's
you
a
got
good
a bunch
collection.
of games there.
That's a great collection of games, actually.
Honestly, got a lot to talk about with that. But again, we'll go through all these and then come back. The PS5 and the PS5 Digital Edition. PS5 is $4.99 American. If you care and you're from a different country, look it up. If you're getting the digital, $3.99. It's coming out in the U.S., Canada, South Korea, Australia, Mexico, Japan, New Zealand, November 12th, and the rest of the world November 19th. Pre-orders are, as we know with Genesis, technically available now, but they're actually supposed to start being available tomorrow. And then Jim Ryan, that was not mentioned in the show. Well, I don't know why. Again, we'll talk about all that. Mm-hmm. And then Jim Ryan was like, hey, one more thing. And then you hear Kratos talking. There's some snow going on. You hear the God of War theme. God of War Ragnarok. This seems to be the title, but it might not be. Game came out in 2018, but this one's coming out in 2021. If this is not delayed, I will be shocked. But that was the conference. After the conference, we found out Spider-Man was backwards compatible. We found out, what the hell? Horizon Forbidden West, that's coming out on PS4. Sackboy, that's coming out on PS4.
That's also
we also found out that Spider-Man and Demon's Souls are launch titles. Jeff Keighley was a hero. He was the one who tweeted out almost all of this. Very confusing why that was not in there. It seems like Sony was delaying that for some reason. I don't know. They put up a blog post talking about it. I don't know. The conference, I think, was still good, but it kind of went all over the place. As far as predictions go, not great, guys. Not great. It's because we did more fake predictions than real. Yeah. None of us got any right, except Genesis. His number 4 prediction was a fake prediction, and he put the God of War 2 trailer. So, not counted because it's a fake prediction. But since nobody else got anything, you win.
Well, wait a minute. I called the Miles Morales Spider-Man. I called that.
You did say after show.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah.
But you said you talked about Miles Morales, and then you said PS4 after show. So you did. Yeah, you got a point there too.
I called that.
And that was a real prediction.
That was a real prediction. So I win. And not only that.
No, you win.
And not only that, but I had basically called that when the Miles Morales trailer first unveiled way back when, because nothing about that trailer looked anything more dynamic than everything that looked so great for the Spider-Man on PS4. I'm like,
we'll get into that because there are things in that trailer that can't be done on PS4.
Well, yeah, so. But you know what? Guess what? It's all going to be there. It's all going to be there. It's going to be fine. It's just not going to look as pretty, but I'm telling you, for the titles that are going to be available for both the cross compatibility, well, not cross compatibility, but they're available for both systems. It's just intriguing to me to see, like, once the actual visual comparisons get thrown up on the internet, just to see the nuanced differences, because you could be running Miles Morales or the New Horizon on a PS4 Pro with a high-end TV, and then you could very well have similar, if not maybe diminishing returns for a PS5 running the same thing on a not so high-end TV. Because I don't know, it'll be an intriguing comparison to see the two different screenshots, but I have a very strong suspicion that it's not going to be a huge difference in visual fidelity. It'll probably translate more into like the functionality thing, the whole super fast load times, and you don't have to deal with any kind of delay for fast traveling or what have you. That will probably be the one significant difference between the PS4s and the PS5 version of those games.
Yeah, I agree. Lighting will be significantly different. Hair should be better. It's the little things that should be better, and I'm excited for that. So, all right, boys, how do you want to do this? How do you want to jump into this?
Can we get a little bit more? Because I'm very intrigued. I've always been a Final Fantasy guy, and you say that it was a medieval Final Fantasy, which they kind of play off different styles of medieval-esque. Some go high-tech, some go steampunk, some go like Super Lords of the Ringsian kind of like fantasy with magic and stuff. What is what is there anything else about what they showed on 16 that makes it unique from previous entries? Like, did they mention like any characters or?
No, it's all brand new stuff. I could take the segue for that for Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, 100%. That's why I looked at you. I don't know.
It's all different characters. Although they did mention something about the crystals. They said the crystals have brought this future upon us.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's continuing from something from either 15 or 13. It definitely has no connection with any of the previous ones before 13.
Well, usually they don't. I mean, this whole concept of them, like for instance, like the 13 series, you know, that's a recent phenomenon where Square's been trying to make like proper sequels. But generally speaking, the Final Fantasy games have been kind of like the Zelda games. They're all self-contained fictions that don't have any kind of cross interplay other than, you know, maybe some nuanced things like Moogles and Chocobos and magic systems.
Chocobos
and
are there. They're all white now, apparently. They're not yellow
all
anymore.
of them? That's
for
somehow racist.
The ones that we saw in the trailer, they're all white. It seems that we go through a couple of time skips in the game, as far as I've seen. The gameplay is very reminiscent of 15, although the summons are all there. Shiva, Behemoth, those were the two big ones they showed. There was another one, and I can't remember.
Behemoth or Bahamut?
I'm sorry, Bahamut. I apologize.
Okay.
Shiva and Bahamut are both there. There was like two more, and I don't remember their names because I don't recognize them. I'm sure if you've seen them, you'd be like, yeah, I know which ones those are.
I'll have to look it up.
The main character looks,
boy or girl?
It's a guy.
Okay.
It looks intriguing. It's kind of a cross between like Cloud and Noctis, looks wise.
Okay.
And then what else? What is it? No. Graphics look good, fantastic. Honestly, for that being a console exclusive, it's only going to be on PlayStation 5 and PC. So
looks
those are the only two. Yeah, I'm sure it's alpha.
Yeah.
It's alpha, so that game's not going to probably be out for another maybe two years, 2-3 years probably. So we won't see it then. We won't see it yet. Although I'm very curious, they didn't mention this. What team is working on this one? Usually they will run like Square Enix, and then it'll say like what team, whatever the team's name is that's working on it. I don't know if this is the same team that did FF7 remake. I don't think it is. I think it's a different creative director.
I would think it would have to be. I mean, like, I don't know how they'd be able to
still
split.
Definitely busy doing FF7 remake.
Right? Yeah.
Or whatever, FF7 Part 2. But I was very excited for the trailer when I saw it, and then the PlayStation exclusivity thing was real hype. I like that a lot.
Now, when they say that, do they mean that that's going to be a permanent thing, or is it just going to be like a timed
exclusive? Console exclusive.
But and it won't ever turn into like a timed exclusive, right?
It did not. It would have said first on PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm intrigued by that.
They did with FF7. And I said last night that I don't think they would do that. And I thought I said that they didn't reach far enough into their pockets to say, yeah, let's solidify this on PlayStation. But I guess they did. I was shocked when they showed that. I was like, oh shit.
Content is king, baby.
It looked good. It looked very good. I'm very intrigued in it. I wanna definitely see more of it.
I'd love to see. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I was gonna say, while I wasn't too keen on the whole like full-on transition that the Final Fantasy games were towards like the Kingdom Hearts style action RPG that basically 15 was, and then obviously the FF7 remake series is also. The one thing that I really would have liked to have seen is like an incorporation for like a limited multiplayer like functionality to it, to have like your friends jump in. Like for instance, if they're playing their party, right, for their campaign, but then for them to jump into like Genesis, your gameplay. Like for instance, if you were playing 15 and you like controlling Noctis, well then I'll jump in with one of the other boys, how I build it on my campaign, to bring like my special kit loadout for that character, and then control that character during the the live action combat sequences. That would be a really cool concept that format, that style of game offers to the player, as opposed to just strictly concentrating on constant shifting from party members to get everybody's combat combos in order and sequence to maximize damage and blah blah blah. But to open it up to multiplayer, that would be really cool, and I really hope
well, they
that
did
16...
multiplayer with 15. 15 has comrades. Comrades is basically you create your character and you're able to jump into other people's
so you can
worlds.
do that. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's already a thing. Yeah, Final Fantasy Comrades is exactly what you're describing.
Well then I hope they expand on that for 16.
I don't know. Yeah, that I would like to see that. But Comrades itself, I think, is like $10 if you buy it on its own, or if you have 15, you got it for free.
So you have to pay an additional fee for that?
No. Meaning, like, if you wanted just the online portion of Comrades, you just buy it for one. You buy one time $10 and it's yours.
But
if you never bought 15,
but you don't get the whole game.
You don't get 15. You get Comrades, which is the online.
Oh, so it's not the whole game, is what you're saying?
No, it's not 15. Yeah, that's why they're not charging like.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the whole experience.
You get the entire world that 15 had. So the whole world that 15 had, you get to play in that world with an online party.
And that's cool, but I'm talking about like the whole story mode, like the whole story mode, like everything that you would play from
It's got its own story in there. But I get what you're saying. But that would be just online co-op then. That would be just you hop in.
I would love that. I would love that. Yeah, for them to turn it into a drop in, drop out kind of like co-op situation for the campaign. I would love that. That would be awesome. But I don't know. I have no idea what Square deems as important, because I can't figure them out sometimes.
I can understand that.
But I'm intrigued. I love a nice new Final Fantasy game. I hope they continue to push the limits when it comes to player options, gameplay modes, that kind of thing, and not just BSy kind of like mini games and stuff like that. That's I don't know. That's just a trivial distraction. I don't understand why they love their mini games, but I would really love to see them really like, hey, we can make multiplayer a thing. We could really get in on that. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I would agree. I like the idea of that. I think Comrades tries to do a similar thing to that, and yeah, you get to be in your overworld and all that. But I think seeing an entire story from start to finish with a co-op party would be cool. I agree with that. By the way, Mian in our chat again is asking for recognition for the correct price prediction from yesterday of $3.99 and $4.99. Did anybody else predict that with him? I think Adam, you did.
No, we all changed it because we didn't want to do that price because it seemed like the most obvious.
He got it.
But
so
good job, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Good job.
I was off by $50 on the low end.
You stuck to it, and that's what really matters. So you win. You win the viewer poll, I guess.
Yes, the viewer poll. There you go.
The viewer competition.
I really wasn't expecting the price difference to be $100. I was expecting it to be a little bit less than that. But the pricing that they released, that's what I personally expected. Yeah, it's not a big shock there. It's interesting.
Yeah, I was expecting the $50 difference. But I
think it really could have went either way.
Yeah. Apparently, Mian's got a PlayStation 5 pre-order from Target.
Hey, there you go.
Good for you. Congratulations.
I had the option to get it on Target. I didn't want it on Target, though.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't support that company.
Well, I bought the headphones from there. I just didn't want the actual PlayStation.
Ah, that's all right.
Because for some reason, I feel like those are going to go out of stock on Amazon real quick. I don't know why.
They might. Yeah.
We shall see.
Very much so. All right. Well, what else was a standout for either of you two gentlemen? I kind of jumped in there with Final Fantasy. Oh, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man definitely was. I like Spider-Man.
Which was right next. Yeah, right next. Yeah, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man looked amazing.
It looked real good. How many people were in that little market area, and like, oh my god, it looked so beautiful.
The combat itself just looked pristine. I loved all the way everything moved. I was like, oh my god, this looks amazing.
Was it that much better than, Spider-Man Prime?
Yeah,
I think it was. If I had Definitely. A clip of Spider-Man's combat originally and then Miles Morales' combat, I would say it looked much smoother, and it looked a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Not hands-on. What's another word I'm looking for? Like
dynamic.
You have more. Yeah, that's it. There you go. It looked more dynamic. Yes.
Okay.
The lighting, especially with the electricity powers, it makes a huge difference. Like when in that beginning, when he's walking through that market, and there are so many people doing so many different things, and the lighting is there, and it looks so good.
And that was just engine.
Looks so good.
And that was just engine gameplay. It wasn't like a cutscene.
Nope, engine gameplay.
Just you were controlling the character, and he was walking.
Cool.
So. That looks really good. The music when you fought as Spider-Man, it had that trap bass. Oh my god!
Loved it. You know what? You know what? I actually felt very Black Panther vibes coming from that track that was playing. I was half expecting Black Panther to show up out of nowhere and be like, "What's going on?" But I actually like that.
Yeah, it reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse, which is also like a Miles-centric Spider-Man story. The music of the first game was amazing, and this one, it really it was so good, yeah. Oh. Did you see that gameplay trailer, Giuseppe?
No, I only caught like a portion of it, but I will have to see the entirety of it. It sounds real good.
Yeah, it looks so good. $50 for that game, by the way. $50.
For the PS5 version?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know what the price of the PS4 version is.
I would assume it's going to be 40. Yeah, $39.99 because they raised.
But for some reason.
Well, I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool with that. Totally cool.
And then it's $70 for the version where it includes the Miles Morales and the remastered PS4 game. So. I think I would only get the Miles Morales game because I've already played Spider-Man. Like, if it's going to give me a separate trophy list, like, I don't need to do it again.
Right.
No, I'm just going to get the Miles Morales one. Yeah, I don't need to get the. I don't need to get that one. I'm going to do the Miles Morales one. Not the
game
edition or whatever.
And for some reason, at the end of the trailer and gameplay, they're like, "Hey, holiday 2020." Then for some reason, after the show, they confirm that it's a launch title, November 12th.
They have to have something to go with it.
Well, the other thing too, besides that game being $50, the other games that are also, I think they specifically said that any Sony or PlayStation Studios game is $70. That's the price that you're gonna see. So like Demon Souls, 70.
Oh dear, here we go.
What is it? Hang on. Have a list over here.
All-Star Destruction, 70.
Yep, that's 70. Sony confirmed $69.99 first. So it's Astro's Playroom. That's pre-installed on PlayStation 5. Demon Souls is 70. All-Star is 70. Miles Morales 50. Ultimate Edition 70. Sackboy is 60.
Well,
I'm perfectly okay paying $70 for PlayStation Studios games.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm perfectly okay waiting for the inevitable price drop, which will happen at a faster rate now that they're pushing a higher price point at launch. So, in a way, I'm kind of okay with it too. But they're going to lose their day one buys and week one buys, their weekend one buys. Those numbers are going to take a hit.
I don't think by that much.
I don't think so either. There are people who are signing up regardless.
Yeah, they'll sign up regardless, but it will be a hit. Like, they will take a hit on it. It will not be a thing, especially at the onset, for sure. Because this is the thing. In the very recent history when it comes to game launches, regardless of how quality the game is, whether it's a disastrous situation like a Fallout 76 or like a Battlefront 2, or even better games like that, price drops, especially for the big holiday releases, they are inevitable, and they happen much, much sooner than they ever have before in history. And the market is aware of that. And for the consumers out there that are sensitive to the $10 price hike in brand new games, which apparently this new console generation is going to establish, it's going to be up to the market to push back against it. If you're really that sensitive about it, well, guess what? There's going to be a lot of other games, probably at much thriftier prices for quality entertainment. And you know what? You can go ahead and take it easy on that first week for everybody else, and don't give in to FOMO. Spend what you're comfortable about spending, but also bear in mind that these are just games, and nobody needs games. People play games for entertainment and enjoyment. And if you're stressed out about spending too much money about it, then you should not stress yourself out about it, because there are other options out there, and you can, again, vote with your wallet, and you can send a message to Sony and everyone else to say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you putting that game out at full price, but guess what? I don't feel comfortable paying that price. I can go ahead and wait, because I know I will eventually get it, and I'll get it at a much better price. And there you go. Crickets.
People regardless wait for some games to come up at prices for later. I mean, I know that there are no longer any other programs that like Amazon or Best Buy or Walmart run where you get like discounted games anymore.
Yeah,
that
the
stuff
Gamer
all died.
Pass stuff. Yeah, and that's a shame too, because if anything, like this whole confirmation of the $10 price hike, and again, the everyone's going to be split right down the middle on it. You're going to have people that are just going to be absolutely cool and totally apologize for it, and then you're going to have people on the other side who's going to be like, oh, these corporate overlords are just determined to take all your money. Well, guess what? Corporations have always been determined to take all your money. The question is, do you allow that to happen? And again, how much are you comfortable with spending on anything? You, the individual, the gamer, the player, the consumer, you control that, and you should not ever give that up, even from a psychological perspective. So, just don't give in to FOMO and spend what you're comfortable spending. And if $10 really makes you upset about it, then don't do it. There's nobody's under any compunction to spend what they want to charge you. Just because they want to charge you X amount of dollars doesn't mean that you have to spend that money. You have a lot more control than you think, and you don't have to get things on day one. Just saying, that's gonna be a new paradigm shift that some gamers out there may have to accept.
Oh, I'm thinking of the times of how everything is too. People are going to accept that regardless, no matter what, with how their money situation is for a lot of different people.
Well, there's a lot of weak-willed people out there. There's a lot of weak-minded people out there, and there's a lot of people that fall prey.
It's the same. Those same people are the same ones who, even though they can't afford an iPhone 11 or iPhone 12, they'll go out and go stand in line for an iPhone 12 because they can miss the rent payment.
Oh, sure. Well, that's another thing too. And then there's also people out there that are also susceptible to the predatory monetization, like the online gambling mechanics, the Ultimate Team Passes, the game packs, and all that stuff. And again, those companies are not under any compunction to kind of do any kind of ethical thing regarding that. But this is where the ESRB needs to step up and say, hey, look, we need to be a little bit more transparent with the rating systems for some of these software titles, because if these mechanics are in there and younger kids can get a hold of mommy and daddy's credit card, link it to their account, and they can drain the coffers on the newest FIFA. Well, that's something that now the business has to really ought to, at the very minimum, needs to put those kind of warnings into play. And it's not surprise mechanics. Ooh, LOL surprise dolls. No. It's really, really bad economic policy that leads to a lot of really horrible stories from families that find credit cards maxed out, and it's just there's too many of those stories, and this isn't the moment to revisit them. But yes, it would be nice if we had a little bit better representation from the people that are already taking all of our money. But they want even more than that. But that's another thing. Yeah, that $10 price hike though. That people will be they'll be talking about that for a while.
People are getting their emails for this prayer thing that back when the lottery was going on.
Has there been any additional follow up on that, by the way?
They're getting their emails today. People are posting that they've gotten their emails, and tomorrow morning at 10. That's Pacific. What is 10 a.m. Pacific time to Eastern?
1
o'clock.
So 1 o'clock they'll be able to go on to a specific URL and order their PlayStation 5.
And this would be through Sony Direct, right?
Yeah.
Like direct.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Adam, did you get that?
I did not. I just looked.
Okay. Some people are getting it now. I don't know how they're sending the waves out, but anyway.
Yeah.
What are we up to now as far as the conference is going? So we've talked about Spider-Man.
We've only done 2 games. We've only done Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man. So now we're up to Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, let's talk about that. First of all, my wife is super excited about it, and she's like, "Yes, please!" at the end of that trailer, and I too am very much yes, please. It looks really, I'm really intrigued by it. I would love to know how in depth the RPG elements to it are. I do remember in that trailer them repeating choice multiple times throughout the narration of the trailer, and I hope that's actually true. It remains to be seen, but I'd love to know more about it. Like, what is the ambition of the game? Is it going to be a strictly single player focused experience? Is it going to incorporate some element of multiplayer? I mean, it seems like it stands to reason like the content would kind of usher you in that direction, because you're going to Hogwarts. It's not just you want to share the Hogwarts schooling experience with everybody else that you're friends with. That would really make the experience. So I just want to know more and more about it.
From what I've seen in the trailer, or Adam, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
From what I saw in the trailer, I mean, it looked very enticing as far as like an RPG style game. It looks like you start out as like obviously the bottom ranked wizard. You go all the way up. You kind of work your way through Hogwarts, and then they showed off. They're like, by the way, you're not just stuck in Hogwarts. You can go out and do all this other stuff as well. And they showed off like the sprawling world and things like that, and riding the creatures. So it's definitely open world. As far as multiplayer, I would assume it's been multiplayer. I think that would make sense. Making it single player wouldn't make much sense. I mean, you and your buddies go out and into the world of Harry Potter, and you're going around and just learning all these new spells and riding these creatures and discovering all this new land. That would be a very enticing game, I think, especially for a lot of the Harry Potter fans, if they are doing it that way.
This game right here, the Hogwarts Legacy game, it presents a very unique opportunity for the game developers to have some really fun things to do with splitting what a player can do from a single player experience to separate it from the multiplayer. Like, for instance, like all of like the school type stuff. You know, I mean, there can be some elements that you can work in a team with, but then, you know, the whole concept of like studying, learning your potions, learning your spells, practicing your spells, like those can be like fun little game mechanics that would focus on the single player. So like it would give you time to like kind of like do a little leveling, a little level grinding, or that version of it for whatever that game would be, for yourself. So by the time that you know everybody else jumps on, you're like, hey, I'm leveled up, ready to go, and you can like, you know, it would be a neat little way to kind of like counterbalance the whole leveling system to keep everybody like kind of like within the same, you know, the same range without having to rely on like a game mechanic to like do an automatic, you know, across the top, you know, like level system, like no matter how high you are, that it'll automatically chop 20 levels off to, you know, match with the lowest party member that you have. Again, I'm just spitballing ideas out there, but it would be a really cool thing for a game like that to give the player unique single player experiences, and have them separate from the multiplayer experience, and then have them coalesce in a way that's very unique in the Harry Potter world.
So I found an article about this. It's an open world RPG. You get to pick your character. You're a student at Hogwarts. And the article I found is talking about the Bloomberg report that came out like in June, I think. But most of that Bloomberg report was just like the game has changed a lot. The studio is Avalanche Software, not the people who made Rage 2. That's Avalanche Studios. These are the people who made Disney Infinity games. And then their latest game is 2017's Cars 3: Driven to Win. So they've made games. I don't know how well the Disney Infinity games were reviewed. But,
there was another company, another software company that was attached when the credits rolled in the beginning of that trailer that my wife noticed at the beginning, and she noticed that as the same software company that does that the Harry Potter mobile game that is particularly bad with its monetization in terms of like making you buy.
Yeah, this will be
stuff.
Monetized to hell.
Oh, it will, of course. It obviously
Guaranteed.
will. Yeah, which is a shame, but you know, hey, whatever. This is the new norm.
There's also a little paragraph I want to read to you guys in this article. Again, this is from the inverse.com. The paragraph is: the official website for Hogwarts Legacy confirms that the game will come to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. The next-gen versions were leaked in the aforementioned Bloomberg report, confirms that the game is in development for PS5 and Xbox Series X, and it sounds like the game will be exclusive to next-gen consoles. What did that paragraph mean?
I guess they were wrong in originally saying that it was going to be only exclusive and it's going to come to all now?
Okay. The way that paragraph is written, terrible.
Yes.
Inverse.com, check your stuff.
Yes.
But it might be proper language, but I'm too dumb. So I've read that like 3 times while you guys were talking about. There's no plans for it to come to Switch or Stadia. I don't think anybody on Stadia cares, because I don't think there's anybody on Stadia.
Correct.
And the people on Switch, they'll probably want it eventually, and Nintendo will be like, no. So, but I have no. I've only seen 2.5 of the Harry Potter movies, the first 2 and the second half of the last movie, or the second to last movie. Don't ask. It's just one day I will sit down and watch them all, but I don't know. This game looked like a wizard game, and that's all I got. So,
well, it definitely accomplished, you know, a pretty significant goal there. Because if it didn't look like a wizard game, then we'd really have some problems.
Hey, that's a good point. You know, there was no guns. You know, it didn't look like Fast and Furious. Speaking of that, move on. Call of Duty Black Ops, that Cold War campaign, we already talked about this. If PS4 players will get an exclusive access to the Cold War multiplayer alpha on September 18th. So this Saturday, I believe, right? Yeah, Saturday. Wait, no. Friday's the 18th. Come on, guys. Anybody have really anything to say about Call of Duty?
No, I don't care.
No.
Call it trash.
Okay.
Whatever.
Oh.
Whatever. Call it trash.
We're gonna skip the next game because we already know Giuseppe's opinions on Resident Evil.
No, let's talk about it. I mean, did they show, like, when, like, again,
I'm gonna turn this over to Genesis.
Yeah,
Oh,
Genesis.
God.
So, again, do they show anything that brings back actual Resident Evil to it, or is it just another generic horror story that they're gonna? Because again, for me, Resident Evil is not a generic horror story that's just an ultimate creep factor in the way that they basically fashioned the entirety of 7. I can understand why they did it. They wanted to try something new and fresh, and that's cool. They could have still done all that stuff, but incorporate more of the elements of the Resident Evil. Because this is the thing, a Resident Evil game, yes, while it gives you this whole creep factor, and you don't know what your opposition really is, and it's not about killing every enemy that's on the screen. You have to be tactical with your item maintenance. You have to pick and choose when to fight, when to flee.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the characters that you play are larger than life characters that have good character arcs in those games. But you as the player controlling those characters, you're empowered. Like, you have the ability to destroy these horrible things that are in front of you. Sure, you may pay for it later on if you expend too much ammo, but it's an empowering kind of game. You never feel like you are, you need to run from everything, because you do have some power in your hands to fight back against it. And I feel like you lose a little bit of that special sauce when you turn the game into a more generic horror, run and hide simulator, like an Outlast situation. And I'm just curious if they, in the trailer for 8, that they brought in, like, hey, that looks and feels like Resident Evil, as opposed to that is more generic horror stuff.
This particular one, they did not show like any sort of combat sequences or anything like that. It was a lot more cinematic stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's in game, or I don't know if those are CG or in game. I'm pretty sure those are that's all in game.
Okay.
But they started the trailer off with like Chris saying something. You get basically punched in the face by some guy. It looked almost like Hunk. You're getting punched in the face by somebody who looks like him.
You're controlling Chris? Chris is the main character?
No. You're watching Chris walking out the door. You're still controlling, what's his name? Ethan from 7. As far as I understand now.
So Ethan screams Chris in the beginning of the thing, the trailer we watched.
Yeah. And then they went through a bunch of more obscure like stuff where like I don't know like what exactly is being shown still, because it's all very obscure. His wife is still alive apparently, even after in the last trailer we saw her get shot.
But isn't I thought the canon ending to that was that the wife did survive.
She did,
Okay.
But apparently in the first trailer that we seen for 8, she got shot. Now in this trailer, we see her talk about something else. She's reciting some story to him, very similarly to the first trailer, but it's a different story than she did in the first one. And then at the end, somebody is smoking a cigar on the side, and he says something to you, and I don't know if that was trying to be like, maybe this is a character, you should know who this is, and I couldn't tell who the hell it was, and I was like, I don't know who this is. I thought it was the guy from Resident Evil 4, the merchant, the stranger guy, because I thought
merchant.
he was going to say stranger, and I was like, wait a second, is that the guy? And then no, he said something else. I was like, I don't know who the hell this guy is. This particular trailer did not show any sort of like capabilities of what you're going to be able to do in the game. It was a lot more just diving more into this obscure story, not explaining a lot of it any better than they did in the first trailer. Like there were so many questions in the first one, and nothing got answered in the second one. It just added more questions to this one. That doesn't particularly mean that I'm not looking forward to it. I enjoyed Resident Evil 7. Much like I did the Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 6 and 5 and all the other ones. I understand.
Wait, you enjoyed 6?
Oh, meaning like the game itself, not like actually like, oh, this was a good game. I mean, after 5, played 6, I was like, okay. 7 was a good departure from 6, though, definitely. For me, it was like, okay, this is much better than what I played in 6. I missed the characters, which is why when I booted up 2, I was like, oh, okay, I'm playing as them again, and this makes a lot more sense with the story. Like, okay, but I don't have a very big opinion on this game yet because I still don't understand what I'm looking at. I know it's Ethan. I know it's Chris there. I know his wife is somehow alive or somehow dead. I don't know where chronologically this trailer takes place. But
so it sounds like Ethan is going to be the main character again for this game.
Oh yeah, we're still going with Ethan.
Why should anyone care about Ethan? I'm just curious again. Could you give me a reason why I should care? Like, other than the fact that he was the protagonist from 7, that was able to survive.
So far, that's it. Because remember, this is going in a different direction where Umbrella is.
No. I get that, and that's all fine and everything. But like, why is Ethan why is he like a worthy protagonist other than he's just a guy who's looking for his wife? Like, does he have any other kind of special skills or inside information, or does he have a mission that's outside of that, or is he still just some dude that went looking for his wife, get caught up in this weirdness, and he somehow survived by the miracle of plot armor, and then now we have to keep on going with him? What is it about Ethan that makes him worthy of a continuation of his story? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I don't have much care for Ethan as a character. Like, if they replaced him with Leon or Chris, it wouldn't make a difference to me. I'd be like, okay, we're just replacing the main character. You don't see the thing is that you don't get attached to this guy as you got attached to Leon and Chris and Claire and.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah, because they're actually much better characters. Yeah, they have depth to the characters. This guy is just a guy you're walking around as. I don't really have a thing to care about him. I have a feeling he's more of just a
vessel.
It's not a vessel. More of like he's there to connect everything else that we're about to see this story turn into. I don't think he's there to serve an actual purpose of being a protagonist. He's just basically the perspective of the player looking at this story from the outside. Because normally we're playing as Leon or Chris or Claire or what was her name for 5? Shiva? Was that her name?
And, Shiva.
Yeah. Shiva, yeah. Or anybody like that. But in this case, we're looking at it through like just almost like a bystander. Because he doesn't have an actual depth to his character. The only thing we know about him is that he is a reporter. He goes and tries to find his wife, like you mentioned before, and he gets now caught up with the Resident Evil universe. I think he's not really there to serve an actual purpose of, here's your character. He's there to be like, you're looking on from everything from the outside point of view, not as one of those characters in that universe.
He's in the plot. I mean,
yeah, but you can replace his name and it wouldn't make a difference. You can replace him and it wouldn't make a difference. Well, he doesn't have relevance to the actual plot. Things are happening around him that he just becomes a part of, which I think, like I said, they're going to branch out this story now to say, okay, here's what's happening outside of everything else that you're seeing.
Well, isn't that though? But that's a curious choice, because isn't that like weak sauce? I mean,
I think they're going for a different approach, and again, I could be totally wrong. This is just me talking, but they're going for a different approach with.
Well, obviously,
rather than have you playing as the main character, let's put you as just Joe Schmo out on the side, and let's see how you react to the world that we put you in here. So, because honestly speaking, yeah, he wouldn't survive. He's just a normal dude.
Right now, so what I'm going to say next after that is that if it ultimately doesn't matter who the main character is that the player is going to control in a first-person game, where again you have even less opportunities to connect with a character because you never see the character. why does it matter? Why even continue with Ethan at all? Why not be just some other Joe Schmo in a
I
manner?
don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna survive past this game. It doesn't sound like it. I mean,
might...
if Chris is getting in this game and he's shooting his wife, then I don't think he's gonna stick around. I think, like I said, I think this is the bridge that they have to get over first.
Well, and that's fine, but I'm just curious, like, why? Well, number one, why continue with Ethan at all, and number two, why not turn it into a situation that you see in, like, for instance, the Call of Duty campaigns, where you take over, for various missions in, small slices, all different kinds of soldiers, CIA agents, and what have you, that are, taking part in, a global operation, but in different places around the world at different times. Why not turn it into just something like that?
I don't think that would make even a difference at that point, even if you turned it into that, because you still don't see your character at that point. You're just a bunch of different people at that point.
That's my point. That's my point. Like, why not just turn it into somebody? Like, I don't see any. I don't understand. Like, unless you're doing something else to, like, finally finish off whatever kind of story that's left over that was unresolved.
Could be the case. With Ethan. Like I said, it looks very obscure. I still can't read it because it doesn't. Nothing chronologically even lines up, and you're seeing many different snippets of things going on, which could be at different points in the game. And I don't know, if you watch it and then compare it to the first one and watch them one after the other, I would guarantee you wouldn't understand what the hell is going on.
That sounds about right. Honestly, everything that you're telling me sounds like it's more generic horror stuff that doesn't seem to have really anything to do with Resident Evil. With one caveat. You did mention at the beginning somebody gets knocked out by somebody who looks like Hunk. I would say that would be like the ultimate redemption for me if at one point either Hunk as a character outside the player's influence or Hunk as a character that the player gets to control at some point comes in and just murders everyone. That would be enough for me.
And that's what I think they're trying to tell with this, whatever story that they're trying to tell. It's a different route, but on the outside, not on the inside. Because usually we'd be playing as those guys on the inside. I don't know. We'll see how this goes, but it seems like they want to take this very exterior approach to telling this story of whatever they're trying to tell here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are changing as we go, especially if you account for the remakes and this now. There's many things that are changing in the storyline in the entirety of Resident Evil. Like, I believe chronologically, the last thing that happens is 6, and then it splits to this. But I have yet. I might have to look this up later on and understand this better. But the continuity between 6 and then 7 is the Umbrella turning into the corporation that now apparently is run by Chris Redfield, or he works for that corporation that is now good instead of bad.
Umbrella did not exist at all for the entirety of 6. Like, Umbrella was basically done basically at the beginning of 5, and it had been consumed by Tricell. And
yes, yeah.
So, like, Umbrella has already been gone for a while, and who knows what's been happening, because, like, 6 really didn't get into, like, explaining any of that. It could very easily be like a situation where they kind of like retcon the history and it's like, hey, while all this stuff was happening, this is the secret history of what Umbrella was being turned into. Again, I still don't understand why they would still call it that, because again, in the game history, like, Umbrella gets taken to task financially by basically all of the world's governments for its terrorist activities and illegal biological research and what have you. So I still don't understand the purpose of calling it still Umbrella.
I don't particularly understand calling it Umbrella. The only connection that I've made is the Baker family and Umbrella, because they were apparently using them for early what do you call it?
Research, R&D.
Yes, for the was it the T virus, G virus? One of those viruses. They were
but with
using
the fungus
them.
though.
Yes, yeah, because it exhibits very similar things to Las Plagas and what do you call it? The Ouroboros that they had in 5.
Okay.
So that's one of the only few connections that I've seen. Obviously, Chris, and then there are small mentions of possibly Ada or Claire, one or the other. That is the woman you're talking to, not Zoe, but I believe the woman who was telling you about about the incidents that have gone on in the house.
Okay.
Because Zoe is the other person, obviously.
Right.
And same thing with his wife, but.
Well, we'll see what comes in the future, and hopefully they'll put some more interesting.
I'm interested to see more trailers of it. I don't know. Again, I don't know enough, so it's like I don't know what they're trying to do here with that. If they're retconning the whole thing, cool. I would expect them to then take the 2 and 3 remake that they're doing and throw that in there, because it seems like that's what they're trying to do. Because those are also changing certain things and making it continuous with what 7 and 8 are trying to do.
Okay.
Because there's no mention of Chris in 2 and 3 yet. Like mentioned.
Well,
meaning, we haven't seen him physically there yet.
But Claire is there, and Claire is Chris's sister. So.
Yeah. We just haven't seen him physically yet, and I'm wondering, is that going to tie into 8 and whatever comes after?
We'll see. Yeah. All right, what's next? What else can we talk about that was a highlight for anybody?
Adam?
Deathloop was next.
I don't have any opinions on that.
Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition was after that.
Oh, I love that.
Well, I'm happy that you're happy.
I just want I've always liked the special editions anyway coming out. I'm just excited it's going to be launched on PlayStation 5 with the 120 frames per second with the turbo mode attached.
Isn't that the one where it said available digitally at launch?
Yep. Meaning physical copies would be coming later. And they've done that before with the special editions.
Oh, have they? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, generally with the special editions, they've done that. I mean, with the PlayStation 3 and 4, now going into 5. With 3, they did DMC4 Special Edition was initially only available at digital on PS4, and then it later came as a physical copy. Now they're doing the same thing with 5. It looks good. It looks gorgeous. The fighting looks fantastic in it. The hack and slash gameplay looks great, just like it always does. Now it looks even better with the 120 frames per second. And it's basically what people have been asking Capcom for. Capcom's literally just writing, letters to people saying, here's what you want. Give us the next thing that you want now. And it's like, okay, cool. Except for maybe Resident Evil, but that's it.
Alright. There's a whole article on the blog, like, talking about, like, what the DualSense does for the game, and they go into super in-depth details about, like, what this is. It's $40 if you don't own Devil May Cry. Is it a free upgrade?
Oh, so they gave a price for it?
Yeah, it's $40.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
I will send the article in the group chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna open a PlayStation blog up here because it seems like I've been missing a couple things on that.
Yeah, they've posted a bunch in there. I'm gonna send that real quick, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Oddworld, moving on. Five Nights, moving on. Demon Souls. Anybody see anything about that?
Well, I mean, I'm continue to be saddened the price hike, but it looks pretty. I'm definitely not gonna jump into it at $70. But of course, by the time that I can afford a PS5, it probably have already dropped to like say $40 anyway. So I'll get to it when I get to it. But I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I need to drop everything and get on this Demon Souls like right away. I just don't feel that.
All right. Fortnite. Yep, that's what I thought. Let's talk about this PlayStation Plus collection. What's everyone's thoughts on this?
I think you said it perfectly, Adam, earlier. If you kind of skipped over this past gen, it provides a whole lot of game value. For how much are they charging for it?
This is included
free.
with Plus.
Free.
Oh, it's included. So you're going to have access to all those games just by being a subscriber to
if
Plus?
you have Plus, if you have Plus, day one you can download all of these.
That's a huge win for people that may have missed out on some really.
A lot of people are comparing this to Game Pass and saying this is PlayStation's version of Game Pass.
It is.
I still wouldn't call it that.
It's not. Yeah, it's not as ambitious as the Game Pass, but it is a really good value for PlayStation loyalists who may not have, partaken in all of the Sony exclusives, and then there's a couple other ones in there that
This thing gives people a perfect reason to go buy a PlayStation 5, especially people who have not had a PlayStation 4 and buy Plus.
Adam said it perfectly.
This gives a reason versus Game Pass. Game Pass doesn't give you a reason to go buy an Xbox. Game Pass is you have all the games available.
Yeah, it does.
You can do it on anything else but an Xbox.
Yeah, you can also do it on an Xbox.
Why would you buy it on an Xbox though when you already have a PC at home?
What? Who said they already have a PC?
Okay, so what I mean is that the PlayStation 5 PS Plus collection has mostly PlayStation exclusives on it. That gives people a reason to go buy because you can't play those games on a PC. Yeah, it has Last of Us. It has Days Gone. It has
God of War, PlayStation, Bloodborne, PlayStation, Monster Hunter World PC, Final Fantasy 15 PC, Fallout 4 PC, Mortal Kombat X PC, Uncharted 4, Ratchet and Clank, Days Gone, Until Dawn, Detroit PC, Battlefield 1 PC, Infamous, Batman Arkham Knight PC, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us,
Persona 5. Persona 5, Persona 5 is not on PC, right?
No, that's on PlayStation.
Right.
Yeah,
also,
it gives more of a reason to go buy a PlayStation.
11 exclusive, 7 on PC. So that's actually a good mix.
It is.
Yeah, that gives more of a reason to go have somebody buy a PlayStation than Game Pass says to go buy an Xbox. Because if you have any other console as well, except for PlayStation, you can play Game Pass. And Game Pass is mostly just multiplats. There's no.
Well, I will say this:
those games are also on PC.
it's a nice precursor to when Sony announces the increased price point for PlayStation Plus. Eventually, didn't happen today, like I had predicted, but it will happen.
No way.
But it will happen, and they will announce it soon enough. But I think this is a good way to kind of prime people. It's hey, look at all this extra value you're gonna get out of your PlayStation Plus subscription. Well, you are gonna pay a little extra for that added value because you don't get something for nothing. So
I'm gonna give you one of the comments that Mian just wrote in the chat here. Okay. Mian says some interesting intel I received from a friend who is at GameStop. Who works at GameStop. They capped his store.
Also, our sympathies to your friend for working at GameStop. Well, our sympathies
that
to
same friend is also Desinoto's friend. So both of them.
With the script?
No. Both of them know this person who works at GameStop. His store has a capped availability of pre-orders, so they are capped at 28 regular PS5s and 6 digital PlayStation 5s. That is the cap that they are allowed to order.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay. That's an interesting from the front lines. Thank you, Mian. Always just want to remind everybody, Mian guessed the price correctly. So throw that out there. Anybody else have anything more to say about this collection?
It's a good thing, but yeah, I would say more if I didn't if I had a little bit more personal experience, not having played more of those Sony exclusives, but since I have, like, it doesn't present too much added value for me as an individual, but it is a great opportunity for anybody out there that may have, maybe they were only interested in God of War and that's the style of game that they want and they were really excited when that came, but really not so much interested in some of the other ones. It's a great opportunity for people to go ahead and really treat themselves with some really fine exclusive titles from Sony.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity, and people should totally take advantage of that.
I also want to throw out there that GTA 5 is not the only game that's been on 3 consoles now. It's now Last of Us. It was on PS3, PS4, and now PS5. So, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Is that technically called PS5? Because those are PS4 remasters just going on a PlayStation 5.
So, they're not remasters.
Okay.
This is where the issues are. Those games are coming to PlayStation 5, but nowhere does it say that they are PlayStation 5 enhanced.
I see. Okay.
So there's some critical information missing there. And an update to this as well, Jim Ryan was interviewed by the Washington Post, I believe.
Ah, okay.
Hold on a second. Let me pull up that article. Where is it? A lot of people complaining because they can't pre-order a game console. 2020, am I right? Jim Ryan also said that of the thousands of games tested for PS4 backwards compatibility, 99% can be played on the next console. Sony also announced a new service called the PS Plus Collection, blah, 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 blah. It's a good entry point, blah, blah, blah. It's a fascinating article, but it's nice that he confirmed that. Why that was not mentioned in the show, I will never understand. So, but yeah, in this article, Jim Ryan also confirmed that they always knew a console was going to come out at $399. They just didn't know where to put the other one. But then he was like, we had the idea of $499 since the beginning of the year, but then they kind of went back and forth due to the pandemic, but then just stuck with their prices.
So really quick, just to review again, just for my own certainty, the hardware differences, any hardware difference at all between the digital and the disc version other than the disc drive for the $500 version?
Just the disc drive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's different. There might. I don't know how big the SSD is in the digital version.
Yeah, that we don't know. Yeah.
Oh, really? So that's possible.
Yes.
That's possibly another deviation.
I can't imagine it's smaller. I can't imagine they would. It wouldn't make any sense for them to make the digital edition have a smaller SSD because you would need a larger SSD.
It would be an SSD. That would make more sense.
I'm just trying to think for myself, like I guess you can, like, if you look at like some standalone 4K UHD players, that is kind of like the hovering price point for one. Like, you can find some that are a little bit cheaper, you can find some that are a little bit more expensive than $100 price point. So I guess that kind of makes sense, being the thing to justify the $100 difference, that lack of hardware, that specific component. But I just hope it doesn't translate to any additional hardware deficiency between the two price points, because that $400 price point is much more attractive to me, and I'm very happy that it is there. Because honestly, I wasn't expecting the cheaper version to be that cheap or that expensive, however you look at it.
Yeah. Again, I would not have been surprised if that was $449. Or I also wouldn't be surprised if that was $399 and the other one was $549. It's the most Sony thing to make this complicated. And they have done such a good job of not doing that. Like, they've really have learned from the PS3 days of like how to price a console. Like, it's I mean, other than the pre-order debacle, but it's. We'll talk about that probably next week a little bit. We have another topic planned for next week, but we'll mention that at the end of the show.
Sure.
I'm glad we finally know. I'm glad we finally have a date. I really want UI stuff. And there's a video has to come out of them soon, right? Like, they're not gonna. Like, I don't know. I really expected the UI to be there, but as the conference went on, I'm like, I don't think they're going to show it here, because
it's a shame
doesn't seem like the place to show it.
It's a shame they didn't. And I too would like to see and know more about the UI.
With the conference they set up, it was clearly about the games and the price and the release date.
Which is fine.
At the same time, the release dates were not really there until after. And they were all, like, a lot of them were good news, so I don't understand why everyone wasn't like for Spider-Man. I don't know why it said holiday. It should have said, like, launching with the PlayStation. Like, launch title, or something like that. But for some reason, they just completely... I don't know.
Well,
they screwed something up there. I don't know what happened.
It was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, missed opportunity. But a lot of information has come out. But that Washington Post article with Jim Ryan, highly recommend, because he talks about just expanding the PlayStation brand in general. Talks about their plans for, like, the PC ports, and we've talked about that. So just a good little talk. The next thing in the conference was the prices and release dates. I think we've talked enough about, like, the price and the release date. Pre-orders again officially open tomorrow. There's no time still. Xbox just put out a tweet about 20 minutes ago at this point, saying that, hey, don't forget, Xbox pre-order the 22nd, and then in parentheses they put, don't worry, we'll tell you an exact time. Like, taking a little bit of taking a friendly shot, but we'll see if retailers betray Xbox as well on the 21st. So that'll be something to look forward to. Usually Microsoft is pretty good with that stuff, because nobody is usually being crazy with them. So, but we'll see how that goes. And then I have to personally address Genesis with this. Genesis, Are you listening?
I'm listening. I'm here. I've been listening.
I was 110% wrong. I said there is no way God of War 2 would be announced here. There's no way a follow-up would be shown. I said it was a crazy rumor, and I feel like that might have influenced you to make it a fake prediction.
I should have made it a real one.
I was wrong. I was super wrong. And it's great that it's on the internet forever. Yeah. You saw the teaser, Genesis, I know.
I did.
Did you, Giuseppe?
No, I'll see it, and I'm sure you guys talking about it will give me a good picture.
It's under a minute. It's snowing. You start to hear some semblance of the God of War theme. It's so minute that unless you're, like, super into the music, you wouldn't get it. Myself and who I was watching with, we both got it like, oh my god, is this God of War? There's no way. And then you hear Kratos speaking, and Kratos is like, we must keep training, whatever the hell he says.
Right.
And then slowly you just see the symbol, the Omega symbol start to form, like the God of War Omega symbol that they've been using. It's similar to an Omega symbol. It's not quite it.
Yeah, it's his symbol. We got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it starts forming from left to right, and it's ice. And as it's forming, you start to see the letters, like I can't think of the letters, can't think of the typography. They start to form, and then it glows, and then Kratos is still talking like, we must prepare, like, we We gotta get ready. And then it says Ragnarok, and at this point the music's swelling, and then it says is coming, and then that goes away, and my reaction was, what? This is crazy. And then the year 2021 pops up, and I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Wow.
Because I would have bet my entire life that game would not be ready for, I don't know, until 2023. Maybe late 2022, but I would guess 2023, like April, around the same time.
I think one of the discussions we had, you were like, yeah, there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
There's no way.
Got the game.
Yeah, we got it in 2018. Like, Spider-Man, I understand it's a smaller game. Like, they're using the same, like, assets and stuff. They're upgrading to PS5. Like, sure. God of War is something else. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And when I saw the 2021, I screamed. But then after I screamed, I was like, that's probably going to get delayed. And
yeah,
maybe it won't.
If it hits the shelf and it's not delayed, then you'll scream.
If it hits the shelf, I'll be like, guys, remember when we used to do that podcast? No, we'll still be doing it. If once it hits the shelf, guys, 2021 is like 3 months away.
Yeah, but they say that that's going to be next year, 21. I mean, it'll be a holiday. That's a holiday release. There's no way that's going to be like.
That's also crazy because God of War games don't ever launch around holiday.
Yes, but there's no way.
I think the only one that's launched around holiday is God of War Ascension. All the other ones come out like around March. Like God of War 3 was March 16th, I believe. This one, the previous one was 2018 in April. Like that is shocking to me. They showed no gameplay.
Right.
I need to know what it looks like. I need to know what it's about. I need to know how long it's been. I'm hyped.
It'll look. I mean, it'll look like it's from the exact same universe. It'll probably, they'll have some refined visual fidelity with it, but I don't think it's going to be a vast departure from what we got with the with the last game. It's gonna. I probably bet the farm it's going to have the same kind of combat perspective. It's going to have the same kind of scale. They'll probably incorporate some new kind of skills and abilities, but it's still going to be bouncing back and forth between the blades and the axe, or perhaps they'll toss in a couple new weapons, maybe a couple new equipment abilities too. I hope they do, because that's another thing that's one thing that I could have done more with. A little bit more weapon variety to kind of just spruce up the gameplay, because you basically had the axe for just more just powerful attacks, and then you had the blades for more combo-rific speed combat. So it would be nice to see a little bit more diversity in that regard, but I think it's gonna, I mean it'll look great. It'll be interesting to see how they incorporate the story, because obviously the Ragnarok that's going to be happening there is going to be a little bit closer to the Norse mythology, but it'll be interesting to see how they turn the boy into the world's serpent, so that Thor and the serpent can fight and kill each other, and that's what causes Ragnarok. I mean, according to the legend.
The boy doesn't turn into the world serpent.
The boy, Loki is the world serpent.
No, the world serpent is Loki's pet, like friend and pet.
Yeah, but in the myth, Loki is the world serpent. I know what they're doing in the game, but in the game, if the game is following the myth, then the game basically, when they show him, the boy, talking to the world serpent, it's basically kind of like a time warp thing where he's actually talking to himself in the future. That's how he understands it. But again, I don't know. I don't know if that's what Corey wants to do with the story. I don't know how close to the original mythology he's trying to go with it, or if he's just trying to be like just trying to do his own rendition of it. But it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate, because obviously, at the end of the last game, the Thor tease is there, and he's more than likely going to be the big bad for Ragnarok. So it'll be interesting.
Jormungandr is the middle child of Loki and a giantess. It's a child of Loki. It's not in the myths. It's not Loki.
Okay.
So that not correct.
So that's the world serpent's name?
Yeah, Jormungandr. He has a sparkling conversationalist. That's what Mimir says about him.
Okay. Well,
I was like, "What? That's not correct."
Well,
what
that's still a time warp situation going on, because obviously he's a boy.
No, there's definitely a time warp situation, because at the end of the first game, you get to the realm of the giants, and your whole story is there. Also, Loki's son is there, and he meets him as Loki's a child. So, and there's rumors of Kratos being the world serpent because they have a beard and like the same scar and stuff. There's a lot going on. But yeah, I was like, what? It's like, what are you talking about? I haven't read that myth, but it's thought I was losing my mind. But I don't know. I'm excited. Genesis, you have anything about it?
I'm excited for it.
All right.
I'm excited for it. I don't know why I just got a text now. I'm excited for it. I actually want to see where it goes. I was excited when I saw the thing coming on, because I initially thought like the first 2 seconds of the Demon Souls thing was God of War. I was like, wait a minute, no, this is Demon Souls. Then I seen this at the end, and I was like, oh, this is God of War coming on, because I hear him talking, and then 2021 comes up. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
that surprised me as well. Yeah, that surprised me as well. Very, very to my core, it surprised me. I was like, oh my god.
I couldn't have been more shocked unless they were like available now. I literally could not have been more shocked.
I think if they said available now, you'd have died.
I mean, yeah. I would have had a headache from.
So here's a hot take. Here's a hot take on Ragnarok. You can mark it down on your calendars. It's on the internet, and here's it going to be for the future. The hot take is this: in Ragnarok, the boy will kill Kratos. And that will be the
end. Not a hot take.
That will be the end of Kratos. No trilogy. They'll probably make an additional God of War game past Ragnarok, but it will be the boy's game moving forward. And the boy will kill Kratos at the midway point. It will be the transition. It'll be something in the vein of Last of Us 2, but in the process of turning the franchise over to a new God of War, the boy. Yeah. It will be Kratos' game for a very small amount of time, and then it'll be the boy's time, because Ragnarok Kratos he ain't got nothing to do with it, and he will be sacked. I know it's teased at the end of God of War with the murals on the wall.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But that's happening the next game.
You've already spoiled it when you talked about the chains. Like,
whatever. It's an old game, but yeah, that's happening next game. No third game for Kratos. He's done. He's out. The boy takes over, and we'll see. We'll see if he's going to be strong enough to beat Thor. We'll see.
Seppi's hot takes weekly, twice a week now. This week, twice this week. But I could totally see them doing that. I don't think they'll kill Kratos like in the middle of the game. I don't think they'll do a Last of Us 2 thing.
I don't know, man.
Certainly possible.
Corey's got that Neil Druckmann boldness. I think he's been inspired by Mr. Druckmann. I think he's looking at some really interesting possibilities there. it would be a bold move, and I think it's I think that's how you you really make some fantastic games. Boldness is the key. You won't win all the time. You won't win with boldness all the time. You'll fail. You'll fall flat on your face sometimes too. But that's how you get a real good chance at making something amazing. You got to risk it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
All right, that's the end of the conference. Then that was gross.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's the end of the conference. Anything? Anybody else? Any closing? Do you guys want to give it a rating?
9 out of 10.
It sounded good. I can't really give it a numerical rating.
What's confusing about this is you didn't watch it. And you knew
it's fine. I mean, like, it was a 45-minute video presentation. Not everything that we talked about is the kind of things that I'd be interested in watching at all. I'm fine having discussed the bullet points of everything, and it all sounded good. I would say the only thing that would turn me off to this kind of presentation would be is if like they just release like a laundry list of details regarding games, releases, release dates, and price points that were just like all bad news, like coming 2022, super expensive console. Here's a whole bunch of like really expensive nickel and dime things we're gonna force you to buy into and try to sell you on value. But if it was a laundry list of all that, that would be the thing that turned me off. I'd be like, this is all bad news. Why do I? No, this is a horrible conference. I don't want to hear any of this. But everything that they said was good stuff, So, yeah, that makes it good enough for me.
Are you?
Right.
Let me ask you guys: are you currently happy with the launch title list that they have up, or are we aware of?
What is the official
launch? The official launch list is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Astro's Playroom, Call of Duty, Demon's Souls, Destruction All Stars, Godfall, Sackboy, Big Adventure, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, Legion's going to be available at launch.
Yep.
They didn't have anything. They didn't show anything of that this afternoon.
Why would they want to show that piece of garbage?
Well, I'm just curious if it's going to be a launch title.
That was at the Ubisoft conference, and
that was not there.
It doesn't seem like any company is really taking marketing, trying to get marketing exclusives.
Yeah,
to that.
I mean, it's
like that's just Ubisoft doing that.
It's probably also a smart idea to just stay away from them, altogether if you can. Just because,
Yeah.
Optics.
Also, it didn't need to be there, so.
I guess, that's fine. But that is a significant addition to the launch title. That's from everything that you read right there. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. That's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I can confirm right now that I will play Astrobot. I will play Spider-Man and Sackboy. Those are confirmed.
You're getting Sackboy day one.
Hell yeah. Valhalla, whatever you want to call it. That's a maybe.
I don't want to hear about that.
It's only 60, right? That's not 70.
I don't want to hear about
I don't know if I can justify 70 for that one. I don't know if I can justify 60. Sorry, Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I think it's a solid launch lineup. I was getting it even if there were no games. So.
Yeah, my launch lineup is probably going to consist of Spider-Man, Sackboy, and Astro's Playroom, because that comes free on every PlayStation.
Well, also, are you gonna the special edition of Devil May Cry? It says
yes. I forgot about that being
digitally at launch. Yeah.
Yep. I'll be getting that one. Yep. That'll be
also, if backwards compatibility, I actually want to start up like other games, like some of my PS4 games on there. See if they're enhanced. I would like more information about that, like more like an actual video. Sony just has to release like a 2-minute video on, hey, this is what we're talking about when we do exclusive stuff. Most games are compatible if you think, if you want to look up a game, we have a website that shows all the games that are not compatible for PS5 due to whatever or whatever.
Yeah, that would probably be the smart thing to do, because, you know...
just throw up a URL.
There's going to be more that will be compatible than not, so yeah, just let us know which ones are going to have the issues. So
yeah, drop a UI video, upload it to YouTube. Doesn't have to be a big event. Do you guys think there will be another event?
No.
If there is, it's just going to be the UI. They're just going to be talking about everything.
It's not going to be an event, though.
Well, never mind.
Why never mind?
Nothing, never mind. We're all good.
I mean, if you think it's going to be an event, like...
I don't know. I mean, like, the important information is out there. Yeah.
I agree, but there still seems to be some confusion on a couple things. So it wouldn't hurt if they did like a 20-minute, like, hey, check this video for all your information.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be cool, but it would be better if they did like smaller videos, like, hey, every Monday we're going to explain something. Every Thursday we'll explain something for 5 minutes.
Maybe not.
That would be great. These are the improvements coming. Hey, our UI videos every Monday. Hey, you want information about backwards compatibility? Tune in on Fridays. Like, we have PlayStation YouTube channels. We have a PlayStation All Access channel. We have a bunch of PlayStation certified channel partners. Like, just tune into these. Boom, 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 boom. That's the one thing Xbox, I think, is doing much better. Where they're like, hey, we got all these people doing all these things.
We got all these people doing all these things, showing off nothing.
Well, they're showing off the console. Like, for some reason, a lot of people have the case of the console, not the innards.
Yeah.
And it's like...
They've sent that out to a couple people. That's just more free marketing for them.
Yeah, I mean, like, cool, but at the same time, like, 12 YouTubers having a case. It's like, I don't care. It's weird. It's just weird.
There's also nothing to play on that.
But yeah, so, alright, Giuseppe, I say you, talk about what we may talk about next week and, close us out. So I think we hit everything.
Yeah, so, you know, I've been debating what I was talking to you about earlier, about what we would like to be talking about, and I'm going to adjust what it is, as opposed to focusing a discussion on the actual film release of, well, not the film release, but it is the Disney on-demand premium price release for the live-action Mulan, which is really it's catching a lot of heat on the internets, on the interwebs, regarding the anti-human rights connection of the People's Republic of China, in regards to the changes that the live action made from the original, and in regards to a for the most part a poor audience reception that seems a little bit lower than than what has been for the most recent live action Disney film releases. Lower than Lion King, lower than Aladdin, lower than Beauty and the Beast, and those films all made chunks of cash. So it didn't reflect at that box office. But what I want to do is kind of like reframe the discussion around Disney's marketing and story-focused strategy that seems to be developing a pattern with their live-action remakes, and kind of discussing at what point does a remake, like, is a remake of a previous film or story, at what point does it stop being a remake and truly becomes a story that stands on its own, kind of like discussing, like, at what point do you cross a line when it comes to, you know, changing the story to tell your vision of the story, because at that point, like, if you change so much, then does the story cease to be that original story, and then the moniker of the remake, does it even apply anymore because it's so different? So I want to really focus the discussion more on the controversy of what Disney's doing, because they keep seeming to do the same things with their most recent blockbuster productions. And it's curious to me, the choices that they make narratively for just a good dramatic story, or a hero's journey story, or a self-empowerment Disney magical world story. It seems odd choices that they're making, but they've been consistent in their most recent things, and that's what I'd like to discuss, as opposed to making it an actual film review. Because, Adam, you make a lot of good points regarding discussing the film without having watched it, and all of that is valid and true. But we can certainly discuss the controversy of what Disney's doing with these big films, why they're choosing to, for instance, like with Mulan, that production was made with a very specific intent to pander to the Chinese markets, because the Chinese market
We'll get into it next week. Stop. You're talking too long.
Well, then you're in the wrong podcast. You give me an inch, and I'm going to walk all the way to China. Anyway, but yes, that's what we'll be talking about next week, because I'm sure Genesis is going to be interested, because he's a big Disney fan. And
yeah.
And Genesis, just really quick, have you been like a super fan of all these live action remakes of your animated classics?
Tune in next week to find out.
Not all the live actions, but I'll explain more to next week. But not all of them, no.
And that's it. That's our podcast for the evening. Our second one of the week. It's the bonus cast, reactions to the PlayStation 5 pricing reveals, the release date reveals, a little bit of fun game news and footage, and teasers for the future. So, some good news from Sony, and hopefully we'll continue to get that good news, and perhaps a little bit clearer news moving forward in the not so distant future. And with that, we're going to be signing off at Crafting a Chat from just Mr. Genesis, Mr. Adam. This is Giuseppe Jones letting you all know to please be kind to each other. Don't be dicks. There's plenty out there to add to that negative energy. Don't add to it yourself. Be well, have fun, play games, and we'll see you next week. Bye!
Twitch.tv/. Bye!